So at this point, we've gone through the first three chakras of the lower part of the body, and we've talked about the heart. And what I want to do with the top chakras is show how everything, all the energy of the lower chakras reflects the energy of the upper chakras, and how when we cleanse our lower chakras, our upper chakras automatically get clarity and insight into our human physical experience. I think understanding this is key to understanding the balance of being human and being divine, or human and God at the same time. Because if we are a being that is conscious of itself and then becomes conscious of our consciousness, and then conscious of our creation, and then conscious of the correlation between what we think and feel and what we're experiencing, we become more and more and more and more in alignment with what we truly are. We don't become less human. We just become more capable of lining up to a reality that feels more resonant with our truest heart. And of course, we can choose to be in the body or out of the body. It doesn't really matter. But the fun thing, at least I think, in the experience of being human is that experimenting with how much can we hold in the physical body. Obviously, it requires us to at some point realize that we are the body and we aren't the body. In other words, we have to allow ourselves to surrender the body, give it up, or as you know, in a lot of religions or in just mythology, it's like dying to the self, dying to the human, and coming into our, what people would call our higher selves. The problem is when the human mind looks at that and takes it literally, that's where we have a hierarchy that's built up. This idea that the physical is somehow less and it's limiting and it's therefore evil. And although it is a vehicle that does somewhat limit us because it narrows our perspective, it doesn't mean it's not valuable. In fact, we chose this. Obviously, we created this. We created a whole reality in which we can experience ourselves from multiple perspectives. So it's like the human consciousness itself is the quantum computer. So therefore, what we're becoming, especially the more we integrate all of who we are and have a balance in that, we're evolving. We're definitely taking a jump in evolution. And we have this unique experience of being right in the middle of that, in the middle and aware of it happening, while at the same time being human in it and dealing with all of our old paradigm neural pathways literally getting broken up and new pathways being formed, and the brain getting decalcified and the body detoxing and things going into alignment. And this is happening at all different times for different people depending on where they've been in their life story and where their consciousness is. So from that perspective, you really cannot judge or compare yourself or your spiritual journey or your awakening or your consciousness or anything with anybody else, because it is literally impossible at this stage in the game. When you're creating consciously, you're really outside of time. So anything that you're interacting with in your physical dimension is aspects of you, some way, shape, or form, an aspect of your own thoughts. And because you're narrowing them down more and more and more by tuning more into yourself. So the examples or the reflections that you get will become more and more direct and more clear. If it's something that you're resisting that is hurting you, it'll get more and more obvious that you need to shift, or you're going to die, or it's going to hurt, or shit's going to hit the fan. If it's more of a comfortable life that you're learning to step into, you'll start seeing more and more how your life just doesn't work when you're not in alignment. If you're not in alignment with who you are, things around you start falling apart and getting chaotic. When you're in alignment, things feel really good. You get more energy, you feel more alive, you have more abundance, and it's like the less is more thing. So doing nothing and ceasing thought, in other words, not interacting or engaging with thought forms that no longer serve you, are two totally different things. And that's where the game at this point becomes really all about concentration, all about focus, which can be a difficult thing for empaths, because most empaths or highly sensitive people in some way, shape, or form disassociate. And that's usually how different aspects of our consciousness develops at different times. Because when we disassociate, we're pulling ourselves out of complete experience or a complete awareness of the physical experience, and usually that's to protect us in some way. So we've had to pull out that part of our consciousness in many times in our lives, because most of us who came in with this kind of catalytic energy or indigo energy or even empath, whatever you want to call it, but that idea to be able to come and start being a part of the shift in human evolution, we've had to come up against huge barriers, and we all chose different ones. And so we really are our own unique key to our own unique heaven. No one else has the key for you. Only you can have it, and that's through going within. It's like allowing yourself to be in touch with the innermost parts of you so that you can align there with your truth, because the innermost parts of you are truth. So at this point, when you start really, now that you know and have thought about and hopefully asked yourself questions about the lower chakras and where you're at, I want to challenge you to see the complete inversion of what it looks like when you have your lower chakras cleared and just awareness drawn to them all the time, how easy it becomes then to check in with your upper chakras. So, root chakra, what I talked about primarily is being able to ground your root chakra in your consciously created reality. You don't ground into a reality that is traumatizing for you. We don't have to do that anymore. We can ground into what we know as our innermost truth. For me, it is that there's nothing outside of me. The universe is within me. I remember that that immediately helps me be grounded, because if I ground into the idea that there's an external world that is more powerful than me, I immediately start off feeling disempowered and weak, and that I have to protect myself. So the idea is opening my root chakra and grounding into the idea that I'm co-creating this reality, that I am at the core of my being source energy, and that I'm loved, and that source energy is conscious of itself and creative and falling in love with its creation and seeing itself from a whole different perspective, uniquely through my experience as Amanda. And that is a miracle. And I want to keep following what is the most interesting to me in this experience of humanity, of being human, of being physical. What feels the best to my physical body? What feels the best to my emotional body and all the parts of me that are sensitive, that are in this physical body? What's the highest excitement? Not just what feels comforting or what feels safe or what feels like you're being protected from other people. That's old paradigm. New paradigm is what actually engages you. And to be 100% honest, for me, it's magic, because at this level in the game, I understand that not only is magic real, but it's completely logical. It completely makes sense with everything that I believe and everything that quantum physics is now saying. So it's like just my mind had to know that, oh yeah, it's possible. And there's that link into my mind trusting my reality that I'm creating. It's not even that I'm creating it already is, because I wouldn't have the ability to even understand it or comprehend it on any level if it didn't actually exist. So root chakra opening is grounding into your consciously created reality, or the reality that resonates most with your core. This isn't a reality that you're running from in order to protect yourself. Again, that's old paradigm. It's not disassociating. It's the reality of, in my inmost being, I know that I know that I know. Whatever it is that you know is your truth. Ground into that. Now, if you look at the top chakras, so the lower three chakras reflect the top chakras. Crown chakra would be what coordinates with the root chakra. Crown chakra is releasing attachment. So once you ground into your reality, your most innermost truth, resonant reality, your crown chakra opens. It immediately opens because you then release attachment to your old beliefs and old paradigms, your old character as whoever you were in the old paradigm when you believed you were a victim. So crown chakra automatically opens because you release resistance. You release attachment, I should say. Sacral chakra. Sacral chakra is how you follow your highest excitement. In the old paradigm, what fueled the sacral chakra was really just indulging, even if we felt like it was wrong, even if we felt like it was bad. It was like the rebellious side of us, because we had to, because that's what being human is. But then it would be flog yourself for being human and find some sort of church or path that sanctifies you of that core seed of rebellion in you. New paradigm is, my desires are good and they're in alignment with source energy, because source would do nothing more than create more of what it is. And so I have the opportunity to create projections that are a distortion of what my inner truth is, or I have the opportunity to create and interact with a physical world around me that are a more clear reflection of what my inner truth is. And I choose to act on my highest excitement. I'm not going to enter into a world in which I have to fight or be at war with myself, because I choose love and I choose peace with myself. So in order to fuel my experience as a human, because otherwise I would just pop out of body, because there'd be no need to be here, I need to find something to interact with, to create with, to give and receive with, to fuel my existence as a human. Therefore, what is my highest excitement? Now it's no longer fear of punishment or desire, repressed desire that drives our interaction with the physical world. It's complete permission and allowance to be who we are and to engage with life in a way that feels like a win-win situation for the world around us. This is the key. The new paradigm is win-win. That no matter what I choose, I'm choosing alignment with myself, therefore alignment with the world around me. If any part of me is antagonizing any part of the world around me or the external world, then I am not in a win-win situation. I'm in some sort of a feeding situation or taking advantage of energy. And that's against my core belief, because I know a source is abundant and there's no such thing as lack. So that's lining up the sacral chakra. The chakra, the top chakra that coordinates with the sacral chakra is the third eye. So again, when you open your sacral chakra and you fuel it with your truest desires, your highest excitement, the things that really, truly fuel your desire to be human, where you don't feel guilty about it, what fuels it from the perspective of your most inner truth, that opens your third eye, because your third eye is what gives you the clarity on the other side. The clarity that you may not have as a human if you're acting from a place of judgment or fighting something against you or having to prove yourself or any of those things that fight or combat the guilt within you. So that's the old way of doing it. It's fighting against yourself, proving yourself. Nothing wrong with that. We developed a lot of strength in that area. But when we're aligning with our inner truth, we realize at this point we can still choose that paradigm if we want, but if we do it from this point, we're doing it consciously, and we know we have power to change that if we want to. We don't have to engage in a war paradigm. We can engage in a fun paradigm. We can play with each other. We could start. Who knows what we could do as a human consciousness? How can we engage with each other in a way that's fun and interactive and benefits the whole species? Obviously, starting to ask that question within yourself first and foremost, and within the people you hang out with the most, and within the people you're creating with. When you open your sacral chakra, you open your third eye. In that way, they correlate. They're cleansed and in alignment. And then, last but not least, the solar plexus. The solar plexus is the subconscious creative power. This is when we have this in alignment with our new paradigm, this is where we absolutely shine the most. This is where our uniqueness. There is nobody like you. As I was saying earlier, no one has the composition that you have. No one is awake the way that you particularly are awake in the middle of a human story. So who you are, your power, is your uniqueness. And once you realize that, you realize no one could take it from you, because no one has it. It's rare, and no one can have it because it belongs to you, and no one can have mine because it belongs to me. And if we all radiated power, especially subconscious power, from that place, we would enter into a totally different way of interacting with each other, because competition wouldn't be the point anymore. It'd be, how can we complement each other? How can our strengths and uniqueness complement each other? And when we open our solar plexus in that way, that opens our, what the top chakra that correlates with it is the throat chakra. And that is speaking your truth, letting your words be in alignment with your true uniqueness, what you truly, authentically feel. And all of that meets in the heart, in the center, which is the kingdom, and who we truly are. So I just wanted to give this overview. We're going to start the top chakras tomorrow, but I wanted to give an overview so you have an idea. And we'll be doing a meditation as well. Okay, ciao.